हरि ओम। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम सदाशिवसमारंभां शंकराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। हरि ओम. Salutations to all. We will chant till what we have covered, no? So we have done up till 11. Do up to 11.
ॐ श्री परमात्मने नमः। अथ त्रयोदशोऽध्यायः क्षेत्रक्षेत्रज्ञविभागयोगः। अर्जुन उवाच प्रकृतिं पुरुषं चैव क्षेत्रं क्षेत्रज्ञमेव च एतत् वेदितुमिच्छामि ज्ञानं ज्ञेयं च केशव। श्रीभगवानुवाच इदं शरीरं कौन्तेय क्षेत्रमित्यभिधीयते एतद्यो वेति तं प्राहुः क्षेत्रज्ञ इति तद्विदः। विद्धि सर्वक्षेत्रेषु भारत क्षेत्रक्षेत्रज्ञयोर्ज्ञानं यत्तज्ज्ञानं मतं मम तत्क्षेत्रं यच्च यादृक् यद्विकारी यतश्च यत् स च यो यत्प्रभावश्च तत्समासेन मे शृणु। ऋषिभिर्बहुधा गीतं छन्दोभिर्विविधैः पृथक् ब्रह्मसूत्रपदैश्चैव हेतुमद्भिर्विनिश्चितैः। महाभूतान्यहङ्कारः बुद्धिरव्यक्तमेव च इन्द्रियाणि दशैकं च पञ्चचेन्द्रियगोचराः इच्छा द्वेषः सुखं दुःखं सङ्घातश्चेतना धृतिः एतत् क्षेत्रं समासेन सविकारम् उदाहृतम्। अमानित्वम् अदम्भित्वम् अहिंसा क्षान्तिरार्जवम् आचार्योपासनं शौचं स्थैर्य आत्मविनिग्रहः इन्द्रियार्थेषु वैराग्यम् अनहङ्कार एव च जन्म मृत्यु जरा व्याधि दुःखदोषानुदर्शनम् असक्तिरनभिष्वङ्गः पुत्रदारगृहादिषु नित्यं च समचित्तत्वम् इष्टानिष्टोपपत्तिषु मयि चानन्ययोगेन भक्तिरव्यभिचारिणी विविक्तदेशसेवित्वम् अरतिर्जनसंसदि।
So 18 values we have seen so far. The last one that we saw was Vivikta Desha Sevitvam, Aratir Jana Samsadi. So this Vivikta Desha Sevitvam is solitude. Shankaracharya ji writes in that you be in the company, you be in a solitary place like a forest or on the banks of a river, where there is no danger to you and where the mind can turn within and think about the self. See, today with phone, etc., even if one is alone in such places, one is not in solitude actually. When I went to Narmada Parikrama, there was one Parikrama Vasi with me. His name was Bhola. He was a driver earlier. And then he renounced his job, etc., and he has been doing yatras. So we are passing by a forest. And he is doing his yatras in search of a guru. He wants a proper guru. He has tested many people and he said, this is not fit, this is not fit, this is not fit. So when we are passing by the forest, one interesting thing he said, यहाँ कोई मिल जाए, मैं उसको गुरु बना लूँगा. क्योंकि जंगल में अगर कोई रह रहा है बिना फोन के, तपस्या ही है वो. ही सेड कैसे जी सकता है, उसका इंद्रिय संयम तो हो ही जाएगा, निर्भय तो होगा, और जंगल में अगर अकेला रह रहा है मतलब एकाग्रता से आत्मा की खोज कर रहा है. मैं बना लूँगा स्वामी जी इसको गुरु, मिल जाए कोई यहाँ पे ऐसा. मिला ही नहीं. But what he said was very interesting. I was trying to just do satsanga, so I was asking him, ऐसा क्यों? बोले कि स्वामी जी यहाँ पे कोई प्रलोभन ही नहीं है व्यक्ति को. जंगल में क्या प्रलोभन हो सकता है? पेड़ पौधे हैं, प्रकृति है, कोई प्रलोभन है ही नहीं. तो उस व्यक्ति के मन में होगा ही संयम. I said that is interesting point. अगर फोन नहीं है and you are living deep in the jungle somewhere alone, what will you live for? No, you are not going to live there for some sense enjoyment. Where every moment there is some or the other threat of some wild animal or somebody or the other. But he was very clear. So Shankaracharya wrote in his commentary that whoever wants to turn to the self should get into some time of solitude, and certain places also will help. Then he said, Aratir Jana Samsadi. Who stays, what is above us? Every class mein this happens. They keep moving furniture every day or what? Every class. Don't go now, it's all right. After the class. So, Aratir Jana Samsadi. So, Shankaracharya writes in that, that what type of people's company the seeker avoids. So, he says, Prakritanam, those who are very base in their thinking, gross in their thinking, who are more extrovert, who are unrefined, who are not cultured, who are doing immoral things. Company of such people will tempt the seeker, and so to keep such company is not good. So avoid such people. That is Aratir Jana Samsadi. In general, one can also say that one does not like to go on socializing, and whatever is necessary one may do as per one's roles and duty, but one is not interested. That is not the main thing. And he writes specifically that people who are cultured, who are refined, who have that seeker attitude, keep the company of such people. So it's not that from everybody one has to be away from. Now we come to the last two. So that is in this 12th shloka. Adhyatma jnana nityatvam tattva jnanartha darshanam etad jnanamiti proktam ajnanam yadatonyatha. Adhyatma jnana nityatvam. Adhyatma literally means connected to the inner self. Adhi and Atma. And Adhyatma jnana is that knowledge of the self. Adhyatma jnana nityatvam means to continuously assert one's own identity as consciousness. I am the self, I am not the body, mind and intellect. This is only a role I am playing, this is not the reality. That constant thinking is Adhyatma jnana nityatvam. See, all the other values are for these two actually. Why should I be humble? So that I am able to contemplate. Why should I be, free from pride? Why should I be non-violent? All that we saw, amanitvam, adambhitvam, ahimsa, kshanti. All those values are so that the mind is able to abide in this clarity, this knowledge that my nature is consciousness, I am not this body, mind and intellect. So that is called Adhyatma jnana nityatvam. That's the deepest meaning of Adhyatma jnana. And Adhyatma jnana can also mean, so we'll go a little deeper into it after some time. I'll finish the word meaning. Tattva jnanartha darshanam. Tattva jnana is self-knowledge. And artha darshanam is the end result of that. What is the end result of self-knowledge? Is mukti. To gain that mukti. To have liberation as one's goal. And to be focused on achieving, not just having it as a goal, but to live as a seeker who wants to realize that here. That is called Tattva Jnana Artha Darshanam. Gurudev says liberation from all our imperfections and limitations is the end striven for by all spiritual seekers. That is this. Tattva Jnana Artha Darshanam. These are called Etad Jnanamiti Proktam. These 20 are called as Jnanam. They are called Jnanam in the sense that they will lead to Jnanam. By itself they are the means. They are not Jnana by itself. But they are called Jnanam. Etad Jnanamiti Proktam. Ajnanam Yadatonyatha. Apart from these, in definition of Bhagavan Krishna, everything else is ignorance. If I don't have these 20 values, I may be anybody but I am ignorant. And I am not ready for self-knowledge. I may study Vedanta also. I may give talks on Vedanta also. But if I don't have these 20 values, then I am not qualified to experience that state of Vedanta, of the self. So he wrote, Shankaracharya wrote in this the exact opposite. Ajnanam is what? Exact opposite of all those values. So if it is amanitvam, humility, then opposite of that is ego. If it is adambhitvam, lack of false pride, then it is dambha, pride. If it is ahimsa there, then it is himsa here. So the exact opposite of this is ajnanam, is ignorance. Now the point is, in the world, ajnanam will be hyped up. A seeker has to be very clear. Because people will always think humility, non-violence, lack of false pride, all these qualities which are there, they will make us weak, they will make us, very, very, what they call bhola bhala, who can be taken for a ride. That is a wrong notion that we have. Bhagwan, what does he say? All that which is apart from this is ajnanam. And ajnanam will lead to dukkha only. Ajnanasya phalam dukkham. Ignorance will lead to sorrow. Because that will lead to attachment, attachment will lead to sorrow. So, now having said that, Adhyatma Jnana Nityatvam is, one meaning is constant spiritual application also. Adhyatma Jnana is about the spirit, about the Atma, and constant spiritual application. So how do I live this? Simple. Ask oneself, am I a seeker 24/7 or not? Gurudev always said, ours is a 24/7 religion. It is not Sunday to Sunday. It is 24/7. Which means every single thing I do as a seeker. Am I walking as a seeker, talking as a seeker, working as a seeker, relating with people as a seeker, eating, drinking, whatever I am doing, exercising, am I doing it as a seeker? Which means to do it with those qualities, amanitvam, adambhitvam, ahimsa, all that. If I am doing it where it is increasing my ego, then I am not being a seeker. Then what is the difference between anybody else who is ignorant and bound and me, who is at least aware of this knowledge and I am not living that? Information may be here. One may speak also. But to live that is the main point, and that's what is, and he said Nityatvam, Adhyatma Jnana Nityatvam. To live continuously as a spiritual seeker. See, one may start at some point saying I am a spiritual seeker at certain times. When I do the puja, I am a spiritual seeker. When I go to temple, I am a spiritual seeker. At other times, I am not a spiritual seeker. Initially, one may even say, Swamiji, we have to balance, I need to party also, and I need to work also, and I need to do spirituality also. So I just balance, Work harder, work hard, party harder, and pray hardest. I do all the three. Why pray hardest? Because बहुत गफला किया दोनों में. Work hard है, party hard में. So pray the hardest. अरे भगवान बचा लो. At some point in life, some stage in life, that will happen. There's nothing wrong in that. But at certain stage, when one has to understand कि भाई I have seen the world enough. What is left here? कुछ नहीं बचा है. Once the goal becomes clear that this is the state I want to attain mukti, then live as spiritual seeker. Which does not mean that I will run away from the world and I will not do my duties. I will do as a spiritual seeker, where my duty will be offering to Bhagavan. One sadhak told me, very nice, I was so happy to hear that. So this person was organizing something for G20. We also did one program for G20. So this person was organizing something for G20. And that was a government program. So this person is seeing many people are compromising and taking shortcuts and not doing it properly and all that. And the person also thought, I will also do like that. But the thought came that, is this worthy to offer to Bhagavan? This is not worthy to offer to Bhagavan. If I compromise, so I will not offer. Like this, and this is not befitting to me to offer like this to Bhagavan, so I will not compromise. When I heard that, I was so happy. I said, Dekho, this is called sadhana. Person is doing work in the government, project, but is not compromising because others are compromising, then chalo, I will also do. So that is called Adhyatma Jnana Nityatvam, where one is thinking like a seeker. Because honestly, we are to answer to whom? Only ourselves and Bhagavan, nobody else. If it is going to lead to compromise, unnecessary, I fall in my own eyes, why? For what? So, to live as a seeker 24/7, that is Adhyatma Jnana Nityatvam. The knowledge of the self is to be lived and not to be merely learnt. If the self is one everywhere and the self alone is real, then the seeker should try to live as the self at all levels of the personality. Which means what? To live integrated as a personality and to operate from that attitude that I am a seeker and I will live in integration. What helps me to integrate body, mind, intellect, I will do that. What disintegrates the BMI, I will not. So when I know something is right, but I don't do that and I land up compromising, then there's a split in the personality. Now that is not a seeker. Why did we compromise? Because we let some attachment take over. If attachment was not there to that particular thing for quick anything, quick results, or save some time and do something else later, there could be any of the reasons. Or why to put so much of hard work? Anyway, nobody bothers. So if that kind of mindset is there, then there's a disintegration, because what is expected and what I am doing, there's no match. There's a split. Wherever there will be a split, then the person will not be able to contemplate steadily. The mind will pull on in one direction, the intellect will take in another direction. So that is not what the seeker wants. Seeker lives in integration. So as the self, one has to operate. Yeah, I am infinite consciousness. If that is difficult, then I am a seeker. In other language, a bhakta will say that I am doing this as my offering to Bhagwan. How will a bhakta respond? How will a Jivan Mukta respond? How will a Gunatita respond? So if one thinks that way, how will these great masters respond? Am I responding that way? Different ways by which one can measure. Constancy of living the spiritual knowledge at all levels of one's contacts with the world outside is one of the unavoidable practices a spiritual seeker should practice. So the attitude as the vision, spirituality is the vision. That's why Gurudev said spirituality is not a way to look at certain things, it's a certain way to look at all things. That's the vision. And what is the vision? I am a seeker. And who is a seeker? Who is walking the path of spiritual knowledge, living it, by believing in it. Please remember, by having Shraddha in the path, to finally come to experience that state. One statement that Sadhguru made, he must have made in a particular context, okay? But people have got confused with that. In India, we are not believers, we are seekers. In what context that is made, one has to be clear. One should not take it just blindly out of context, okay? Obviously, a seeker has to be a believer. What he meant there was that we are not blind believers. That's what he meant. Now everybody, we are not believers, we are seeker. Arey bhai sahab, without believing, how will you walk the path? भगवान है पता है कि नहीं? बिलीव तो है ना? श्रद्धा होनी चाहिए पहले. How will you walk otherwise? And Atma is our true nature. That is what Vedanta is saying. How will I walk without believing? So I am a seeker who is not listening to something and just blindly believing. I will question, think, get the logic, analyze, then get convinced. Then I walk the path, having Shraddha. And Shraddha is what? Belief reinforced with conviction. So 24/7 I am a seeker. Who is then walking the path? That is Adhyatma Jnana Nityatvam. How do I do application of this? Ask each time and respond. Would a seeker respond in this way? Impulsively I may want to respond in a certain way. But will the seeker respond in this way? If I have to get up in the morning, do some exercise or meditation or anything, laziness may take over. Monsoons have come early. One may say, Dekho, Bhagwan has sent monsoon early for a reason. He wants you to be in the bed. He doesn't want you to get up in the morning. Some justification the mind will give. That time one has to ask, will a seeker do this? How would Gurudev wake up? 42 years he woke up. No laziness. And he has all reasons to take more rest. His ejection fraction is only 16%. He has diabetes. He has no sensation in the feet. All that. But still, no laziness, no justification, nothing. So if I ask myself that, how will a seeker respond? No. Get up. Go. Do it. See, in the world itself, if you see, for various achievements, people push themselves so much out of their comfort zone or not. Otherwise, one can't achieve anything great. Here we are talking about the highest achievement. How much more discipline, consistency, all that is required. And to ask oneself that question, how will a seeker respond in this? So if I like something, suppose I like gulab jamun and gulab jamun is there. So kya karoge? Toot pado. Will a seeker respond that way? No. Then what to do? Yukta hara viharasya. Enjoy in moderation. Same way, I feel impulsively I should get irritated. When I got irritated, I'll get angry and then speak something. Will a seeker respond? No. If I responded that way, what do I do immediately? Accept. No, this was wrong. Seek forgiveness. That is a seeker's quality. Otherwise, one will justify. मेरी जगह तो कोई और ज़्यादा ही कर लेता स्वामी जी, मैंने तो सिर्फ बोला, कोई तमाचा ही मार देता. That is not how a seeker responds. So if I ask that question, at some point in time one may think, Arey, this is too restricting, I'm not being able to be free, how I was earlier. Now I am just restraining myself कि seeker, how will seeker respond, how will seeker respond. इसमें natural नहीं हो रहा है. That is all the trick of the mind. Because that is unnatural, what we are doing. Getting irritated, getting angry, or being losing self-control, being lazy, that is unnatural actually. Because if that was natural, it would bring a lot of peace. That is bringing disturbance. That means that is not natural. But we got so habituated in that. So then one says, no. Too many rules we are putting on ourselves. They are to discipline us. So this is Adhyatma Jnana Nityatvam. Observe and acknowledge the indulgent, extroverted tendencies of the mind through the day so that they can be sublimated. What is it that is making me lose my attitude as a seeker? What are my attachments? What are the extrovertedness? Where I know what is right, I am still doing the wrong. I have to observe and acknowledge, this is what it is. And work on removing that attachment. It doesn't happen only by willpower. It happens by clarity, understanding, reflection, and denying oneself certain things, engaging in certain sadhanas. All that will help. Another way one can practice is this. We used to do this in our Vedant course beautifully. Nowadays people do good morning message and all that. In our Vedant course it is shloka for the day. You decide one shloka for the day. Now through the day you will contemplate on that shloka. Of course in between the classes and all that. When class is there you are listening to the class and all that. But through the day in between, otherwise the mind is wandering. Either you do some japa or take up a shloka, contemplate. Today I will contemplate. Even when we used to eat food. So generally we will start with the 15th chapter and then we chant the Brahmarpanam and Aham Vaishvanara Bhutva and all that. Then somebody or the other will chant some shloka. Somebody will sing something of Samarth Ramdas ji, or somebody will sing a shloka of one of our texts that is going on, Gita, Vivek Chudamani, Upanishad, anything. So through the day, one can take up any one shloka and contemplate. So the mind has a certain anchoring. Do a spiritual practice exclusively and let it continue as an undercurrent through the day, like japa or a sakshi bhav, anything. All these are ways to remind the mind that you are a seeker. You are not a samsari, or you are not just a person who is ignorant, unaware. So that is Adhyatma Jnana Nityatvam. Tattva Jnanartha Darshanam. Tattva Jnan is self-knowledge. And Artha Darshanam is to see the end result of that. What will this lead me to? So to perceive the essence also is that Tattva Jnana. Tattva literally means the essence. And Tattva Jnana is the knowledge of the essence. What is the essence? Essence of the Jiva, essence of Jagat, essence of Ishvara is one. To perceive that continuously is Tattva Jnana Artha Darshanam. And so for that what has to be done? Study from a teacher, listen, reflect, contemplate steadily. But important is make this Tattva Jnana as the goal. My goal is to realize this Tattva Jnana. Tattva Jnana Artha Darshanam. Now, all this is Jnanam. Etad Jnanam iti proktam. Ajnanam yadatonyatha. Apart from this, everything else is what is he says is ignorance. Meaning, opposite of all this is ignorance. Now, having said this, remember the three divisions in this chapter. Anybody can tell me? What are the three main divisions of this chapter? What does this chapter expound mainly? This projector you can put off and put on the lights. And you can zoom that little more then. This screen is not required. So what are the divisions? बताओ. स्वामी जी बहुत पहले शुरू किया था. क्षेत्र क्षेत्रज्ञ, वेरी गुड. देन एक हो गया, दो बचा. अभी आगे नहीं आता, देखो. पुरुष प्रकृति द थर्ड वन, बीच वाला. कहाँ पे लिखा है वो? पहला श्लोक जो है, देखो देखो पहला श्लोक क्या है. जो चैंट कर रहे हैं हर क्लास के शुरुआत में, उस पर ध्यान ही नहीं दे रहे हैं. प्रकृतिम पुरुषम चैव क्षेत्र क्षेत्रज्ञम एव च ज्ञानम ज्ञेयम च केशव एतद् वेदितुम इच्छामि. वो सब आ रहा है ना उसमें. तो व्हाट इज द सेकेंड वन? ज्ञानम एंड ज्ञेयम. सो अभी क्या खत्म हुआ? ज्ञान खत्म हुआ. व्हाट विल कम नाउ? नोअर विल कम नाउ. What is knowledge has come, what is to be known, gneyam, that will come now. Till now, out of these three, each has two, right? How many have we covered out of these 6 topics? Kshetra, Kshetrajna and Jnana. बस ये 3 कवर हुआ कि ज़्यादा कवर हुआ? शी हैज़ अ डाउट. ज़्यादा कवर हुआ? 35 श्लोक्स, 13 ओवर. उस मत का मतलब 3 हो गया. ये ऐसे कैसे? दैट इज नॉट ए कैलकुलेशन. वेदांत तो ऐसा है कि तत्वमसी में तो पूरा का पूरा 4 वेद खत्म हो गया. बोले 4 वेद तत्वमसी, तो 3 ही तो अल्फाबेट्स हैं. सो प्रकृति, ज्ञानम एंड ज्ञेयम is the second topic. The Kshetra Kshetrajna got over, then Bhagavan started Jnanam, and now he said all this is, these 20 values are Jnanam, rest of it is Ajnanam. And as we saw, the purpose of this Jnanam is to prepare me for the Gneyam. What is the thing to be known? So see the next shloka. Gneyam yattat pravakshyami yajñātvāmritam aśnute anādimat param brahma na sattanna saduchyate. So Gneyam yat, what is Gneyam? Tat pravakshyami, that I will tell you. Why? Yajñatva amritam ashnute. Having known that, what will you attain? Immortality. What is that? Anadimat param brahma. It is anadimat. It does not have beginning. Beginningless it is. And supreme Brahman it is. Infinite consciousness. And what is its nature? Na sat. It is neither existence, na asat, nor non-existence. In first line he said, I will tell you that which is to be known, and knowing which you will become immortal. But second line is saying it is not existence, not non-existence. How contradictory it is. How will I know something which is not existent, not non-existence? That means that thing doesn't exist. But no, it is not non-existence also. It is not existence also. So, it appears to be a contradiction, but it is not. So, first we will come to this. Gneyam yattat pravakshyami. I will tell you that knowing which one will become immortal. This is the goal. One has to know very clearly. So much other knowledge that we gain in the world, does it lead us to immortality? No. This is the knowledge of the self which will lead to immortality. And that knowledge only one has ignored, missed out. Lifetimes after lifetimes pass without getting this knowledge. Think about that. So, even in the 9th chapter it came, no? Raja Vidya Raja Guhyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam Pratyakshaavagamam Dharmyam Susukham Kartum Avyayam. So he says that is to be known. Having come into this human life, what is to be known? This. Having known which one becomes immortal. Because that's the chance only in this human life. I may know everything else, but if I don't know the self, no point. I have known only certain objects, but I don't know who am I. So, Jnanam yattat pravakshyami, Gneyam yattat pravakshyami. Yajñatva amritam ashnute. Why is it that knowing this I will become immortal? Because it is of the nature of immortality. The result of this knowledge is immortality is one way to understand. But the nature of the self only is immortal. So the result and the knowledge are not two different things. That Atma is nature is Amritatvam. So that who realizes that, oh, this is my nature, then immediately one realizes I am only that Amritatva, I am only that immortal self. Now the pointers of that infinite consciousness are being told. So from the second line onwards are that Gneyam, pointers of the Gneyam. One has to contemplate in that direction of the pointers. And the idea here is why the pointers are used to negate whatever my false notions are about me, about this small I. So first pointer is Anadimat. This second line, there is only one way to split it actually. One is Anadimat and Param Brahma. Okay, that's the correct way to split it. Which means Anadimat means that which is beginningless. And Param Brahma means Supreme Brahman. The other way to split this is Anadi, Mat Param and Brahma. This Shankaracharya only has written in the commentary saying that that is not applicable, because then what will happen? Anadi means which does not have a beginning, and Mat Param then will mean that that infinite Brahman is now manifesting as Krishna, who is the son of Vasudeva, as Vasudeva, and then he is the supreme, Mat Param. He says that is not required. Here is the Gneyam. He is telling Arjun what is to be known. So what is to be known is the highest consciousness. It is not that he has to know Krishna or he has to know Vasudeva. So here Shankaracharya only has clarified. So the way we have to split is Anadimat Param Brahma. So Anadimat, when one contemplates. Now please remember, all these are pointers for contemplation. When these 20 values we live, then the mind will become subtle to contemplate on this. So what is my notion about me? That I have a beginning. Who has a beginning actually? Body apparently has a beginning. That which exists, how will it have a beginning? Anything which has a form, that we say has a beginning. So, when we say beginningless, body has a beginning, no doubt. And very interesting it is. We count the beginning of the body from when? From the birth. But body was there before that or not? From conception onwards it is there. So our calculation only is wrong. Of the beginning. So no matter what is your age, you are anyway 9 or 10 months older than that. From body standpoint. Before that it was existing or not? Even as a body standpoint I am saying. Was it there or not? Not subtle body. I am talking gross body only. Subtle body to aaya hi nahi main abhi tak. Even as gross body, do you think that the body came into existence just at conception time? As this body? Yes. But did the raw material exist before or not? As what? As the food, the plant, whatever food one is eating, that becomes the vitality in the father, mother, then the conception happens, then the body as though starts forming, but the physical material was existing. And when did that come into being? Does that have one particular beginning? It is continuously there in this creation. In some or the other form it is there or not. So even at body level, if we think actually speaking, that material with which the body is made has been there. Yes, it is perishable, destructible, changing, all that. So we say that is not the Atma. But why I am saying this is because our identification is with this. And so strong identification with this. And what we want to realize? I am Anadi. Anadimat Param Brahma. Aja, Avyaya, Avinashi, Ajar, Amar. But my birthday is coming. Swamiji, I am this many years old today. Please wish me. Arey bhai sahab. Kya padhaya fir? The best part is they will celebrate the teacher's birthday only. Who is teaching them you are unborn? No, you are born. Arey, we are trying to realize we are unborn. So you should realize you are unborn as students. But they will come together and tell the teacher, no, you are born. Arey, bachao bhai sahab apne aap ko. Wish whom? Body is born, body will die. Hundreds of bodies we have taken, and what age, what birthday. औपचारिक रूप से जिसको जो करना है करो, that I will not stop anybody, but it doesn't affect me at all. क्या है का body? Who is born? When is born? Anadimat Param Brahma, we are saying that contemplate my nature is Anadi, Ananta, this is not me. What does it matter? This is made up of 5 elements, it will go back to 5 elements. It came from 5 elements. Pancha Bhuta is there continuously. So, this is at body level I am saying. What has a beginning? Thought also has a beginning. One thought begins, it will end the previous thought. Then the next thought will come, it will end this thought. Body has a beginning, thought has a beginning. But if you see subtle body as such, does Jiva have a beginning? Think about it. As a Jiva, is there a beginning to each of us? Because people ask that question, when was the first birth? This question of beginning itself will come after mind comes into play. So, from one standpoint we say body has a beginning, but from other standpoint body also does not have a beginning because it is made up of 5 elements which have always existed. No, Swamiji, when pralaya happens, 5 elements don't exist. That time everything is unmanifest. But again the Srishti starts, again 5 elements come. So that way samsara is nitya only. Panchabhuta is also nitya. They are not nitya in the sense of Brahman, because the parivartan happens in the Panchamahabhutas, but in existence they are there. Continuously in Srishti they are there. So kya hoga? Body from one standpoint appears as having a beginning, but the other standpoint body is not having a beginning. The point of saying that body is not having a beginning is to destroy my body identification with this. It is not to say that I as a body don't have a beginning. It is to say I am Brahman only. That is the main point here. Anadimat Param Brahma. But even the wrong notion that I have that I am this much years old. Some people feel like that. Swamiji, I am 40 years old now. And now young people are saying, ulta kaisa ho raha hai dekho. Young people are saying, Swamiji, I have become 28 years old. And the old person is saying that 60 is the new 40. अरे बुढ़े लोगों को बनना है जवान. जवान लोग अपने आप को बुढ़ा मान रहे हैं. यही माया है और क्या. So that is all at the body level. Something goes on. Body's age is 40, 60, whatever it is. Panchamahabhuta, beginningless. Now come to the mind. Individual thought has beginning and end. But as a jiva, there is no beginning to us. Mamaivamsho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. Jiva also is sanatana only. Continuously taking body after body after body, traveling from one body to another. And what will happen? When pralaya happens, jiva becomes dormant. Again when the srishti starts, as per its karma, again it will be born again. This will go on. So as jiva also is anadi only. So from which standpoint do I have a beginning? I don't have a beginning at all. Which means I don't have a end. But everything else except Brahman, which is beginningless, jiva, avidya, maya, is all beginningless. It will all end with the right knowledge. Only Brahman is that which has no beginning, no change and no end. That is this, anadimat, that which is completely beginningless. Meaning it is beyond time. After mind comes into play, after 2 thoughts come into play, then time is experienced. Till then we don't experience time at all. That's why in deep sleep there is no time. So the person who understands this contemplates that my nature is anadimat, I am beginningless. And anadimat as what? I could be anadimat as body, I could be anadimat as jiva, but no, I am anadimat param brahma. That supreme Brahman in which there is no duality. Desha kala vastu paricheda is not there, that Brahman I am. So one has to contemplate, anadimat param brahma. So I am not the jiva. Who am I? I am Brahman. I don't have a beginning. I am beginningless. I don't have an end. There is no birth for me. There is no death for me. There is no change for me. I am that infinite consciousness. That continuous, steady contemplation has to happen. Anadimat param brahma. Na sat. It is not existence. Which means what? It is not existence in the sense it is not an object. Like this glass exists, this book exists, this plate exists. So we are understanding it as an external object apart from us. It is not existent in that sense ki okay, truth exists. Like many other things, truth is one thing. No, it is not like that. And because it does not have name, form, attributes, qualities, none of that. Because it's not a object, it doesn't have any properties. And it is not non-existence also. Because if you say it is not existence, then it must be non-existence. No, it is not non-existence. Why? Because who knows the non-existence? There has to be a truth which knows all the time, which is aware. If the first person who came into the room is aware that nobody else has come. Otherwise, who will be aware of that nobody else has come? So that awareness is always there. So it is not a non-existence. And Gurudev goes on to say very beautifully here that he says that this concept of Sat and Asat, existence and non-existence, are concepts of the Buddhi. Truth illumines both these concepts. Atma illumines both the concepts in the Buddhi. So that's why he says here, the concepts of Sat and Asat are judgments of the human mind and intellect. The consciousness that illumines these judgments is the Self. The illuminator and the illumined cannot be one and the same. That we already saw. The knower and the known. Kshetra and Kshetrajna cannot be the same. Therefore, the one subject Brahman, as opposed to all objects, cannot be either existent or non-existent, because Sat and Asat are two types of thought waves, and the Self illumines them both. So that Brahman is neither being nor non-being is all that the scriptures can declare. Which means what? It cannot be intellectualized. Brahman is not an intellectual concept of existence or non-existence. It is not even Shunya, it is not even Sat. But between the two, if I have to choose something to contemplate, I have to choose Sat. So, having said that, I am the consciousness which illumines the concept of Sat, concept of Shunya. That Atma to abide in, that is Gneyam. So that's the meaning of this beautiful shloka, that Anadimat Param Brahma Nasattan Nasaduchyate. Now, this 14th one. So now this few verses which come now, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, all these are pointers of the Self, which are Gneyam. And these all are contemplative verses, where one can contemplate and undo the false notion that we have in our mind. Sarvata panipadam tat sarvatokshishiro mukham sarvatashruti sarvamavritya tisthati. So, that truth which is all pervasive, that is one way to understand the truth. So, all pervasiveness of the truth, how do we understand? So, the example given here is this. Sarvata panipadam tat. It has the hands and feet everywhere. Sarvataha akshi, eyes everywhere. Shiraha, head everywhere. Mukham, mouth everywhere. Then, sarvataha shrutimaloke. It has ears everywhere. And sarvamavritya tisthati. Is everywhere in the world, covering everything, enveloping everything. So if you literally think about this, then it looks like some weird creature who has eyes and hands and feet and head and ears everywhere. But what does it mean here? This is similar to the Purusha Suktam. Sahasra Shirsha, Purusha, Sahasraksha, Sahasrapad. There it is Sahasra. So one thinks it has actually 1,000 hands and 1,000 head and 1,000 feet and all that. Here it is said Sarva. Sarvata panipadam tat. So what it means? All the eyes are illumined by consciousness. Gurudev used to give that example that what is electricity? Electricity is that which is there in all the bulbs. क्या चाहिए भाई? तो करो ना. Don't disturb the thought process. क्लास में ये सब मत करो. फिर एक बार शुरू हो जाए, then you just settle down. Doesn't matter. So, the electricity, if one has to describe where is electricity, so one says it is in that which is enlivening all the bulbs, making all the fans function, makes all the heaters give hot water. So it does not mean that everywhere it is having, like how it is given here, the eyes and heads and hands and ears everywhere. It is that which is functioning through each. So that's what this means. Sarvata pani padam tat. Which means what? The consciousness in me is not some localized small little consciousness inside somewhere in my heart. But it is the same consciousness that enlivens all the hearts. That is the oneness. That is the oneness that Vedanta operates from. And so that oneness, when we understand, then all this attachment to the body, to the thoughts, to the various people, things will stop. Why? Because I am anyway not this. And I start seeing oneness. So, sarvata pani padam tat. Everywhere there is this one consciousness. Each of this has its own individual application also. One is to understand that there is consciousness which is all pervasive and I am that, and see that all distinction of caste, community, creed, gender, nationality, so many things from which we operate, we put aside those and operate out of oneness. That's a general application. Specific application is what? Sarvata pani padam tat. All the hands and feet are enlivened by consciousness. So hands and feet represent what? They represent our karma indriyas. So all action that we are doing, it is from knowledge standpoint we say consciousness is the enlivener of this BMI. Without that, this BMI will not function. I am that consciousness, I am not the karta. Hands are functioning, legs are functioning because of me, the consciousness, but I am not the karta. That is sarvata pani padam tat. Otherwise what will happen? We have karta bhav. We continuously keep contemplating on one hand, saying I am akarta, abhokta, but when we start doing karma, then strong karta bhav is there. So a person who understands this says, I am only a sakshi, the witness, or the enlivener which illumines the BMI. That is from the knowledge standpoint. From bhakti standpoint, what does one say? Bhagwan is only making everybody do what they are doing. So, Bhagwan is the karta, I am only the instrument. Then we don't get personal, we don't attach, we don't have aversion, raga, dvesha will not happen. Why? Because Bhagwan is the karta. I can do what has to be done as a fit instrument. So that is a bhakti standpoint. Sarvata pani padam tat. Sarvatokshi shiromukham. Everywhere are the eyes of the Lord. So Sarvatokshi meaning Bhagwan is watching me from everywhere. I forget the name of that saint. I don't know whether it is Kanakadasa or somebody else. The name starts with K, that much I know. In South India. So, the students were given a fruit. And the teacher told them, go and eat this when you are alone. So they all went, somebody went behind a tree, somebody went to the house, somebody went somewhere and went, ate nicely that mango and came back. Who is that devotee who was from a very humble background and they didn't allow him to enter the temple of Krishna Bhagwan? So he went behind and then the statue turned, the Udupi temple, no? That disciple, that great saint, his name is starts with K. I forget his name. I think it is him only. So he came back with that fruit to the teacher. He said, I could not eat. So the teacher said, why you didn't eat? He said, where will I go and eat? Everywhere Bhagavan is there. And he is watching me from everywhere. How will I eat this? I am never alone. That teacher was so happy, saying, see, this boy, he got it. Kanakadas only, right? So, Sarvatokshi Shiromukham. Everywhere Bhagavan is there. All the eyes, from Jnana standpoint, all the eyes are enlivened by Bhagavan. So whatever I am seeing, all the perception, my focus is on the perception. Vedantic students' focus is on the enlivener of that perception. Who is that who is making this function? That's what the Kenopanishad says, no? Inspired by whom? Who prompts the mind to go to its objects, the senses to go to its objects? That. So I am that consciousness, enlivening factor. So Sarvatokshi Shiromukham. Everywhere it has heads, everywhere it has mouth. Meaning what? Thoughts that we have, they also belong to Bhagavan only. I am talking from Bhakti standpoint as of now. Simpler to apply. From Jnana standpoint, one says, I am that consciousness in whom all the thoughts rise, stay and fall. I am not the thoughts. Sharvataha, Akshi, Shiraha and Mukham. So when we eat, how much what we have attachment to taste. This much of tongue, 2 inches of that tongue, itna sa. Uske pehle, uske baad, there is no taste. But for the 2 inches of tongue, baap re baap, anything one is doing. And today the parents are asking children, what will you eat? Arey, what will you eat? Nothing. In our house, whatever was made, khana hai to khao, nahi to bhuka so jao. Khatam baat. What will you eat? And after that, whatever the child says, the mother makes it also. Now the fellow says, my mood has changed. I don't like this. Train them, saying that this is made, eat. Only one day in the year, they used to ask, that is the so-called birthday. That's all. Otherwise, whatever is made, you eat. Tongue, this much of tongue, and uske liye kitna nakhra, baap re. It has to cross this much only, and what is good for the body one has to eat, but no. Mukham, one is eating to live or living to eat. Actually, one is living to eat only. But anyway, the point is, Sarvatokshi Shiro Mukham. So, bhoga vritti, food represents bhoga. For a spiritual seeker, that bhoga only is the way by which one is bound. From bhoga, one has to come to yoga. So, one says, I am not aham bhojanam naiva bhojyam na bhokta chidananda rupa shivoham shivoham. This is all contemplation. When one says sarvata akshi shiromukham, consciousness alone is that is enlivening all the mouths. So mouth is an organ which is dual, representing the sense of knowledge also and the sense of action also. So eating also and speaking also. So all the thoughts which crystallize and become the words, and the food what we eat, that tongue is doing all that. I am the consciousness enlivening this. And that same consciousness enlivens all, that I have to remember. Sarvata Shruti Malloke, which is hearing everything. In Hindi what they say, कानों के भी दीवार होते हैं. अच्छा, हाँ, दीवारों के भी कान होते हैं, correct. So, we are so cautious. बाप रे, मतलब कोई सुन लेगा, दीवारों के भी कान होते हैं. अरे भगवान के कान सब जगह पे है. जहाँ दीवार नहीं है वहाँ पर भी है. Bhagavan listens to everything. He is antaryami in all the beings' hearts. So even when we speak, one has to speak Bhadram Karnebhi Shrunayama Devaha Bhadram Pashye Makshabhir Yajatra. When we say, may I hear the auspicious and may I see the auspicious. How will I hear the auspicious? Only when I speak the auspicious. So from the practical standpoint, we say, okay, speak auspicious, see auspicious, think auspicious, hear auspicious, do everything which is auspicious. From Jnana standpoint, it means what? Whatever I am hearing, for a Vedantic student, Shravanam is the main sadhana. To listen with full attention, one will realize the truth then and there. And here it means what? Having heard, then one has to abide. The thoughts that are rising when I am hearing, they are rising in the mind. Ears are hearing, thoughts are rising. I am the enlivener who is aware of all these. So, sarvata shrutim loke and sarvam avritya tishtati. If somebody says, acha, they have counted, they have told only pani, padam, akshi, shira, mukham and shruti. So only 6 senses are enlivened by consciousness. No. Sarvam avritya tishtati. Everything and everywhere else, consciousness alone pervades. So for today I will stop here. One homework I will give you. Simple homework, okay? These few verses that come now, they have the language of contradiction. Why is the language of contradiction used? That you have to think. Like it is saying, Sarvendriya Gunabhasam, Sarvendriya Vivarjitam. So, what does it say? It is that because of which all the senses are functioning, but which has no senses. Asaktam Sarva Bhritcheva. It is detached, yet is upholding everything. Nirgunam Guna Bhoktrucha. It has no gunas, yet it is enjoying all the gunas. So, why is the language of contradiction being used? That you think. Correct? But why? That's the question.
जय भगवद् गीते मैया जय भगवद् गीते हरि कमल विहारिणि सुंदर सुपुनीते ओम जय भगवद् गीते कर्म सुमर्म प्रकाशिनी कामासक्ति हरा तत्वज्ञान विकाशिनी विद्या ब्रह्म परा ओम जय भगवद् गीते निश्चल भक्ति विधायिनी निर्मल मलहारी शरण रहस्य प्रदायिनी सब विधि सुखकारी ओम जय भगवद् गीते राग द्वेष विदारिणी कारिणी मोद सदा भव भयहारिणी तारिणी परमानंद प्रदा ओम जय भगवद् गीते आसुर भाव विनाशिनी नाशिनी तम रजनी दैवी सद्गुणदायिनी हरि रसिका सजनी ओम जय भगवद् गीते समता त्याग सिखावनी हरि मुख की बानी सकल शास्त्र की स्वामिनी श्रुतियों की रानी ओम जय भगवद् गीते दया सुधा बरसावनी मातु कृपा कीजे हरिपद प्रेम दान कर अपनों कर लीजे ओम जय भगवद् गीते बोलो गीता मैया की जय सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज
न तत्र सूर्यो भाति न चंद्र तारकम नेमा विद्युतो भान्ति कुतोऽयमग्नि तमेव भान्तमनुभाति सर्वं तस्य भाषा सर्व इदं विभाति।
बोलो सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। गीता मैया की जय। कृष्णचंद्र भगवान की जय। ओम नमः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम।